Shalom Aleichem, family. Peace be unto you. And once again, I am so glad to tell. Well, today we're going to look at something known as RICO, Racketeering Influence and Corrupt Organization, okay? And we're going to see how that is occurring in child support, so-called child support, okay? First of all, there's a lot of people who has been arrested. Let's change that. Not arrested, kidnapped under the disguise of arresting, okay? Because the Fourth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution is very, very clear. It states clearly that the right of the people to be secure in their paper, person, and property against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue only the oath or affirmation in particular describing the person, paper, or property that need to be searched or seized. So when somebody is going to be arrested, the person conducting the arrest must have enough evidence that the person being arrested had committed a crime, in the process of committing a crime, or did commit a crime, okay? Without any of those, they do not have any probable cause. Now, in these so-called child support arrest or sweep, what happened is this. The person that comes with a badge and a sheriff uniform and a gun is not operating in the capacity of a sheriff, okay? That's a contractor using his authority, known as call off authority, to arrest a person, okay? And let me tell you what that means. Under 45 CFR 302.34, which is known as the corporate agreement, is also a corporate contract. This is where all these entities are contracted with the Title 4D, okay? Probation department, sheriff department, the judge for magistrate services, attorney generals, etc., etc. All these are sworn constitutional officers who took an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution. In other words, they take an oath to protect the people's rights, their unalienable inherent rights, okay? But what happened, all that right goes right through the door because of the influence of the Title 4D fund that they are getting through 42 USC 658A as in Apple, okay? And because of this contract, they use their color of authority to kidnap people. Remember, for them to have a legal and constitutional arrest, they must have probable cause that a crime has been committed, in the process of being committed, or had been committed, right? Without any of those, they do not have any authority to arrest, okay? So when they come in the uniform, right, it's a call of authority. That is not the sheriff department that is arresting a person. That is actually a private contractor, because under this contract, they become private contractors and are not in the capacity of a government officer anymore. And so when they are sued, what they do, they get a slick lawyer who said, well, we're claiming immunity as a government operative or a government agent. That's a lie, because they're not operating in a government capacity, okay? And once they arrest that person, it's not a legal or lawful arrest. What it is now, it's false imprisonment without the proper Fourth Amendment. It's false imprisonment and also false arrest. Oh, it gets even worse. False armed arrest, because when they come to arrest, they have weapons. So that's armed kidnapping, okay? And so, yeah, it's and this is under the racketeering influence and organization, corruption organization, RICO, racketeering influence corrupt organization. They get corrupted because of the federal funding, and they do not follow the law. It's not only the sheriff department who is participating in this corruption. We have judges who hide behind the scene and rubber stamp fake orders. We have probation department who are involved in it. Attorney generals, all of them are all contracted in it, okay? It's all racketeering, okay? It's RICO, okay? And so when they get sued, what they normally do, the lawyer say, oh, you know what, we're claiming immunity. Well, guess what? High courts have already ruled that there's no immunity for false arrest. And the reason why the courts are serious about that is because arresting somebody is a very serious offense. You have to make sure that you are following the law when they are being arrested. In other words, that's curtailing somebody's freedom. Sometimes people have like a record and stuff like that. So it's very, very serious, you know. So when they arrest people for these under these racketeering charges, you know, and ruin their reputation and stuff like that, this is actually racketeering. This is RICO. And so, like I said, they do not operate in a lawful constitutional capacity as officers of the court, but in a capacity of contractor. So yes, all these arrests are false arrest and armed kidnapping if it doesn't fit the criteria of the Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which it does not. Almost every state in the union have some sort of constitutional writing in their constitution that states that no one shall be arrested for a debt. Debtors' prisoners were outlawed in America in the 19th century, okay? They do not have debtors' prison here, okay? So a person is not supposed to be arrested for some alleged debt, even if it was a real debt. Okay, the Constitution protects that. And so this is what they do to get around that. They claim that, oh, you're not being arrested for a debt. You are being arrested for contempt of court. And like we have shown in many videos, and people do your research, it is not a court. Okay, Title 4D is not a court. It's a single and separate organizational unit under 42 U.S.C. 654 parenthesis 3. Okay, single means it's by itself, separate means it stand alone. So it's single and separate from the court. It's not a court, so there cannot be a court order. So there cannot be a contempt of court. There was never a court order. Okay, so until then, shalom aleichem, peace be unto you. And I am so glad to tell. Fight for your rights, people, and stand up against these tyrants.